Hey, what's up you guys? It's Taylor here at Casone's RV again, and this is going to be part 2 to the RV market crash part 1, which I posted about a month ago, and that got more views than any other video that I've made, so I figured I'd make a part 2 to kind of clarify things, and maybe just get some more likes and more views on my channel. You know, who knows? Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you like this video, but I just again want to cover things that I talked about in that video and really focus on some other points that I maybe didn't as much in that video. So basically, since about a month ago that I talked about the crash was has been happening. It is happening. The prices have decreased every single month, and they have been for the last 4 or 5 months. And actually, they've kind of, you know, like anything else, they're generally going down, kind of like the stock market is, but then it'll go back up or back down a little bit, or go back down. But in general, it's going down. But that's not necessarily a reason not to buy an RV. It's actually could be a good reason to purchase an RV. You could get an RV at a great price. Here is kind of the big bubble, or I would call it, or the big problem with kind of what's been going on. A lot of people say, oh, it's dealers that have been just inflating these prices and blowing it up like a balloon, which it has not been. Or really, what the main problem is that inventory got low during COVID times. People bought up RVs, so there was less RVs. So people just decided to make the price of an RV increase because there was a shortage, which there never was. There's never going to be an RV shortage ever, because you can just keep making RVs, and you can make them a lot quicker than, you know, anything else, and manufacturers aren't going to ever stop making them. But at that time there was a shortage, so the prices of those increased for the first time ever in history. RV prices increased. Well, what happened was a lot of people purchased in 2020, 2021, and kind of what's happening now is those prices have dropped back down, and it's not like the RV market is crashing. It's going down like it always should have before, except now it's going down from when it was already jumped up. So you're bringing it back down to normal like it was before, except you know, it was so hyped up before that this is the problem, that during that time, like I was mentioning in the first video, people purchased during that time now way too much money on their RVs. And kind of what's that has been doing too, I consign RVs here. We actually don't have new RVs here. We consign RVs at this dealership. So what I've run into a lot, and actually had a hard time lately getting a lot of consignments, is that people owe way too much. And then for the people that actually didn't purchase during that time, the people that have owned RVs previously and didn't purchase during that time, which is actually like a lot, or like half or most, or whatever it is, they may not be in debt, but they still think that their RV is literally worth twice what it is, because people are getting their values based upon what is listed online. That's how people, not dealers, get their values. So, well, they say, well, that 2020 Grand Design is, you know, or 2000, whatever it is, you know, that RV that's listed for, I'm seeing them all online for $80,000, $100,000. That must be what mine's worth. It absolutely is not. They are absolutely not selling it for that, because when an RV is worth this, or it's worth $50,000, and they think it's worth $100,000, that does not mean that it is worth $100,000. And they're like, well, you know, the people that actually owe money, they're like, well, I can't sell my RV. I owe $90,000 on it. And although I do feel really bad for these people, they're prepared to take a loss. There's absolutely nothing you can do. You will lose your money. And by the way, you should sell this as quickly as you can, as fast as you can, because not because the RV market is crashing, but RVs decrease in value over time. That RV is not only, first, it's going to be worth $50,000 as it is right now, because that's why things have hyped up and crashed. you bought an RV in 2021 that's worth $100,000, it's worth $50,000 or $60,000. And in 3 years from now, that $50,000 RV is going to be worth $30,000, and you're going to owe, $60,000 on that RV. You're going to be in an even worse spot. But just to let the people know that are trying to sell their RVs, they're having a super hard time selling their RVs. They may just not understand that they're like, well, I'm seeing a bunch of these RVs online for $100,000 that, I can't sell mine. I haven't gotten really any interest in mine, or, financing fell through, or, whatever it is. Well, I can tell you that I am selling RVs here. The reason is because I don't bring in RVs that aren't at a good price for customers. If somebody owes too much, there's not really much I can do other than if they're capable of paying us off the difference once we go to sell off their RV to get out of that, which happens all the time. But a lot of the time, ideally we're looking for people that don't owe much and want a realistic price, so we can sell the RV for a realistic price and still go through their RV. But basically, to get to the narrative of all this, there's quite a bit of inventory out there, and people are probably wondering why there's such high prices. Why are there such high prices when there should be more inventory, when there's like more available? That is simply because people have made Prices RV what they think Prices RVs should be, but they are not selling for that, nor should they sell for that, because you, the people, can go online. It's called NADA Guides instead of what we have, NADA. NADA Guides is kind of like Kelley Blue Book, what I use if I don't have NADA for the people. It's going to be extremely accurate or close to NADA. You can go on there, use NADA Guides, and get you the true value of what your RV is. That's going to be low retail to like high retail. And you can, depending upon the condition of your RV, is going to be kind of what that should be valued at. But the narrative of the story is that people just think, oh, well, because there's 10 other RVs listed for this price means that I can get this price. You cannot get that price because people are not paying $100,000 for a $50,000 RV. All they're going to do, that's why prices are all over the place too, because all they're going to do is go online and they're going to pick out the same exact RV that you have, and they're going to go search and find the cheapest one in the best condition. And that may vary by a couple of thousand. Like there might be an RV in better condition that is a few $1,000s more, it has solar, or maybe it has some add-ons, which may be a few $5,000 more, or whatever it is, but it's not $50,000 more. You are never going to sell your RV to another individual for $100,000 when they can drive an hour away or go down the street or go to another state and spend half of that money on your RV. So essentially, the reason that prices are still high is because people are making them that way, not making the prices high, but making people think that their RVs are still selling at that, but really they're just listed for that. They're not selling for that. If that was the case, I'd probably be doing really good here and driving a really nice car to work. I am doing really good, but that's because I message thousands and thousands of people and get RVs at good values to sell to customers at good prices. So that's kind of the gist of part 2. If you guys like this video, leave a thumbs up, leave a like. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.